In a peaceful little village, nestled among green hills and wide open fields, there lived an old woman named Mary. She didn't have any family living with her and spent her days alone in a small wooden cottage. Yet she never felt lonely. The villagers loved Mary for her kind heart and her willingness to help anyone in need without expecting anything in return. Mary had a warm and generous spirit. She often cooked meals for the poor, looked after the children when their parents were busy, and always listened patiently when someone needed to talk. In return for her kindness, the villagers frequently brought her gifts: warm food, fruits, rice, firewood, or clothes. Though she didn't have much in terms of material wealth, Mary's life was always filled with laughter, warmth, and human connection. One chilly autumn morning, when yellow leaves were falling across her front yard, Mary decided to head into the forest to collect firewood. The weather was getting colder, and she wanted to stock up on dry wood to keep her little home warm. She wrapped herself in an old wool coat and carried a basket to gather the wood. As she ventured deeper into the woods, Mary suddenly noticed something strange. It was an old pot, quite large, half buried under the earth and fallen leaves. Curious, she walked closer and cleared away the dirt. When she opened the lid, her eyes widened with shock. It was filled with shiny gold coins. Mary could hardly believe what she was seeing. Her heart pounded with excitement. She imagined all the wonderful things she could now have: a big new house with a modern fireplace, soft armchairs, new clothes, and no more worries about food or the cold winter. Her life was about to change forever. But there was a problem. The pot was too heavy for her to carry. Still, Mary refused to give up. She used her resourcefulness to make a small slide out of wooden planks and wrapped a thick cloth around the pot. Then, slowly and with great effort, she began to drag the pot along the forest path toward her home. After a while, Mary paused to rest. Feeling curious, she looked inside the pot again. To her surprise, the gold coins had changed. They were now silver. Mary felt a pang of disappointment, but quickly reassured herself. Silver is still valuable. I can still live a better life. Encouraged by that thought, she continued dragging the pot. However, after pulling it for a while longer, she noticed something even stranger. The silver coins were beginning to fade in color. Mary stopped, lifted the lid, and stared in disbelief. All the coins had turned into iron. The heavy, dull metal had no value. It was just useless scrap. Her dream of a new life was slipping away. Mary sat down on the ground, feeling a deep sense of despair. It was as though something very precious had been stolen from her. She had imagined a different life, full of comfort and ease, and now it had all vanished. But then she took a deep breath. In that quiet moment, she remembered her life before she ever found the pot. The sunny mornings with birds singing, the warm meals given by her neighbors, the laughter of children she loved like her own. She realized, before I found this pot, I was already happy. I had love, kindness, and a peaceful life. I never felt like I was missing anything, and my heart was always full. Looking back at the pot of iron coins, she smiled gently. Not because she was giving up, but because she had discovered something much more valuable. True happiness doesn't come from wealth, but from gratitude and the love shared with others. Mary decided to leave the pot where it was, right there in the forest. She turned around and walked home empty-handed. But her heart was filled with peace. That evening, she sat by her fireplace on her old but comfortable wooden chair, holding a cup of warm tea. Watching the flames dance, she felt a quiet joy deep inside. There was no gold, no silver, but she was happier than she had ever been. From that day on, Mary continued to live as she always had, helping others, cooking meals, listening with compassion, and smiling often. The villagers respected and admired her even more. They often told each other the story of the mysterious pot in the forest, and how Mary had taught them an important lesson. Happiness doesn't depend on what you own, but how you feel about the simple things around you. Mary lived to a ripe old age, still cheerful, strong, and an inspiration to everyone around her. In the village, no one saw her as poor. To them, Mary was the richest person they knew, rich in love, in kindness, and in happiness.